And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and roared their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to the world of literature. On behalf of my mates, Shelna may be de la Peña, Amy B. Minguito, and Clan Joshua B. Tilio. This is Maybelline Arnado, touring you to the kingdom of child's literature. Today, we will journey you through the behind scopes of the picture book entitled Where the Wild Things Are. Specifically, we will introduce to you the author and illustrator of the book, Maurice Sendak, and the figures of speech, themes, and symbols that are present in Sendak's masterpiece. Now, brace yourself as we start venturing Sendak's work of art. Before we jumpstart to the highlights of this material, let me first share with you Karen Sykes' plot summary of the Where the Wild Things Are picture book. Karen Sykes' plot summary of the Where the Wild Things Are tells the story of a boy named Max, who is making mischief throughout his house. Max is seen throughout the book wearing a wolf's suit, a king's crown, and a mischievous grin. After chasing the family dog around the house with a fork, Max is sent to his room without any supper by his mother. He then begins a magical journey in which his room transforms into a new world with creatures named the Wild Things, where he is soon made king. Max is in control of his life in the land of the wild things, but soon finds himself homesick and yearning to go back to eat his mother's supper. That's it! Indeed, it is an interesting piece, right? Now, let's start discussing the highlights of this video. First, let us take a glimpse at the life and works of the man behind the storybook. He is no other than Maurice Sendak. The biography of Maurice Sendak that I'm about to share with you is taken from the biography.com website and authored by the biography.com editors. So let's get started! Maurice Sendak is a Caldecott Award-winning children's book author and illustrator best known for his book Where the Wild Things Are. Sendak was born on June 10, 1928 in New York City. The now-renowned children's author studied at the Art Students League and illustrated more than 80 books by other writers before authoring one himself. His most critically acclaimed work includes the dark and beloved story Where the Wild Things Are. In his early years, beloved children's book author and illustrator, or known as Sendak, grew up in Brooklyn, New York, the son of a dressmaker. He was a sickly child who started drawing to pass the time. Sendak excelled at art, landing a part-time job at All American Comics while in high school. While working on the window display for New York's famed toy store FAO Schwartz in the late 1940s, Sendak met legendary children's book editor Ursula Nordstrom. She helped Sendak land his first job illustrating children's books. In 1956, Sendak published Kenneth's Window, the first children's book he both wrote and illustrated himself. Before long, he turned the children's book world upside down with his 1963 masterpiece, Where the Wild Things Are. Sendak captures the public's imagination with his tales of a boy's journey into a strange land inhabited by a grotesque yet appealing monsters. Sendak died on May 8, 2012 at a hospital in Danbury, Connecticut. The 83-year-old had suffered a stroke a few days earlier. Sendak will long be remembered for his outstanding contribution to child's literature. His stories and images have left a lasting impressions on the minds and hearts of generations of readers, both young and old. Definitely, Sendak's works are timeless. Now, for the second highlight, let's talk about the figures of speech. According to the website, a figures of speech is a word or a phrase that is used in a non-literal way to create an effect. In the picture book, Sendak employed a figures of speech which added a flavor to the tasteful piece. In the book, we have noticed that the use of metaphor. The metaphor in the story is when Maxwell are compared to a jungle. The exact statement in the story says, "The walls became the world all around." On that note, the story tells us that Max's world turned into a completely different corner. From his room that filled with agony, fear, frustration, and anger, to the world where he thinks he is safe, free, and at peace. In the book, it shows there that his room transforms into a jungle. That's it! Now, let's talk about the themes that are present in the book. After reading the story, we have listed three major themes that we notice. These are imagination, anger, and love. Firstly, imagination is obviously portrayed in the picture book. It shows us how powerful imagination is and how it can bring us into a new world. The main character, Max, used his imagination to escape his present frustration and anger to his mother. Well, his imagination has brought him to a place where he is independent, free, calm, and controlled. Secondly, anger is a major emotion that was felt by Max. Also, anger is the root of his out of this world's imagination. He felt angry at his mother for the thought he is deprived by his own freedom. As a result, the rise of his uncontrolled dark emotion has led him to his wild imagination. Lastly, love is portrayed at the end of the picture book. Though tacitly conveyed, we could still say that Max's mother still loves him as she prepared Max's supper despite the feeling that she felt towards Max. The picture book has ended in an incredible way. For the last part of this video, we will share with you the symbols that can be found in the same book. We have named three symbolic elements that we notice in the story. These are the hot supper, the wolf suit of Max, and the wild things. First, the hot supper, which directly says something to the readers. Clearly, it symbolized the love of Max's mother despite of her frustration with his child. It only shows that the love of a mother never fades. Second, the wolf suit of Max is not just simple and meaningless suit. It is actually a representation of Max's character, just like a wolf. Max is wild and tough. Third, the wild things are symbolizes the emotions that were gained in Max's heart during the onset of the story. Just like the angry and terrible things, Max was also angry and frustrated, which made him really terrible. Indeed, the wild things are the manifestations of Max's dark emotion during that certain moment. Well, that's the end of our presentation. I hope you got something from this material. On behalf of my comrades, this has been Maybelline Arnado saying thank you for listening.